Hey everyone, and welcome to The Deep Dive, the show where we help you get smarter quicker by unpacking the wisdom found in amazing books.
Cultivate.
And today we're diving deep into The $100 Startup by Chris Guillebeau.
Absolutely.
We're serving up a potent blend of summary, analysis, and review,
Yes.
all designed to help you extract actionable insights and get you one step closer to launching your own successful business.
And you know, one thing I really appreciate about Chris Guillebeau is that he's not just some armchair theorist. This guy has walked the walk.
I love that.
He's interviewed over 1,500 entrepreneurs who built businesses from practically nothing.
Wow.
So his advice comes from real-world experience, not just textbook theory.
Exactly. He's like the Indiana Jones of entrepreneurship, uncovering hidden treasures of wisdom from all corners of the business world.
I like that.
And speaking of treasures, make sure you check out the episode description. We've got study notes and a link to the audiobook waiting for you there. Oh, and if you're finding this deep dive valuable, hit that like button and share it with your fellow entrepreneurial spirits.
Awesome. Now let's jump right into the heart of the book.
Okay, let's go.
One of the most compelling ideas in the $100 Startup is this concept of turning your passions into profits.
Right.
It sounds simple, right?
Yeah.
But here's the catch.
Okay.
It's not just about loving something. It's about finding a way to make it pay the bills.
Right. Like that saying, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
But let's be real. Passion alone won't put food on the table.
Right.
Take traveling to exotic places, for example. It's an amazing passion, but someone needs to fund those adventures.
Absolutely. Guillebeau highlights the importance of finding your sweet spot, that magical intersection of your passions, your skills, and the market's needs. So it's not enough to just be good at something you enjoy. You need to find a way to meet a demand, solve a problem, or provide value that people are willing to pay for.
It's about connecting the dots between what you love, what you're good at, and what the world actually needs. One of the examples that really stuck with me is the story of Gary Leff, the travel expert who built a business around his mastery of air miles.
Oh, yeah.
It's brilliant, right?
Yeah.
He took something he was passionate about, found a way to monetize it, and created a win-win for both himself and his customers.
It's a fantastic example of identifying an underserved need within a passion area.
Yeah.
Think about it. Who hasn't dreamed of getting free flights? Gary saw an opportunity, leveraged his skills, and created a valuable service.
Right.
And that's what's so encouraging about this book. You don't need to be a tech genius or have a groundbreaking invention to start a successful business.
It's about looking at your existing skills and passions with a fresh perspective. And that leads us to another important concept, skill transformation.
Right.
You don't need to have all the skills right away.
Exactly.
Guillebeau talks about this waitress, Kat Alder, who used her exceptional interpersonal skills to launch a successful PR company, even though she had zero experience in PR.
It's such an empowering concept, right?
Yeah.
It suggests that we can leverage our existing strengths to break into new fields.
I love that.
Think about it. The skills you've developed in your current job, your hobbies, even just in your everyday life. Could those skills be transferred to a different industry or a niche? What hidden talents might you be overlooking?
That's a great question for all of you listening. What skills do you have that you could potentially monetize? Drop your answers in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts.
Now, even with the best skills and a burning passion, you need to know who you're selling to.
Okay.
That brings us to the crucial concept of understanding your customer.
Right. And Guillebeau doesn't just talk about the basic demographics like age, gender, and income.
No.
He goes deeper, encouraging entrepreneurs to understand their target market's shared passions, skills, and values. It's about getting into the minds of your customers and understanding what makes them tick.
He emphasizes the importance of moving beyond surface-level assumptions and really digging into the why behind customer behavior. Why do they buy certain products?
Right.
What problems are they trying to solve? What are their aspirations and frustrations?
He's a big advocate for informal market research. Getting out there and talking to people, conducting surveys, even just having casual conversations to glean insights into their needs and desires. It's about being a detective, uncovering clues that will help you craft a product or service that truly resonates with your target market.
And one of the most valuable pieces of advice he offers is to ask these crucial questions up front. Would they pay for this? How much? And how can I make it even better based on their feedback?
It's about validating your idea before investing a ton of time and money into something that might not have a market. And he even suggests testing the waters with single product orders to minimize risk.
That's a brilliant strategy, especially for those starting out with limited resources. Yeah.
It allows you to get real-world feedback without going all in on a large inventory or a complex production process.
But here's where it gets really interesting. There's a catch to customer feedback. Guillebeau warns against blindly following every suggestion.
Yes.
He uses this great example of airline legroom. People complain they want more space, but consistently choose cheaper, cramped flights.
It's a classic case of actions speaking louder than words.
Yeah.
Sometimes customers don't know what they truly want, or their stated preferences don't align with their actual behavior. It's your job as an entrepreneur to read between the lines and decipher the underlying motivations.
It's like that saying, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. You need to tap into those deeper emotional drivers that influence purchasing decisions. He talks about this wedding photographer, Kyle Hepp, who knows that clients don't always have the technical expertise to articulate exactly what they want. It's his job to interpret their vision and deliver what they'll actually cherish, even if they couldn't articulate it themselves. It's about being a translator, bridging the gap between what customers say they want and what they truly value.
Right.
And that requires a deep understanding of your target market, their aspirations, their fears, and their unspoken desires.
Now that's some next-level customer insight.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what assumptions have we been making in our own businesses? Are we truly listening to our customers, or are we just hearing what we want to hear?
That's a powerful question for all of us to consider. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about the art of marketing on a shoestring budget because, let's face it, most startups don't have millions to throw around on fancy ad campaigns.
Okay, let's get tactical. What are some of Guillebeau's top tips for marketing your business without breaking the bank?
So one of the key takeaways is to focus on benefits, not just features.
Okay.
It's about understanding the emotional drivers behind purchasing decisions and crafting a message that resonates with those desires.
Yeah.
Logic plays a role, but emotions seal the deal.
Got it.
And speaking of sealing the deal, he's a big believer in good old-fashioned hustling.
Hustling. So like working those connections and getting creative with your marketing efforts.
You got it. He talks about connecting with journalists, collaborating with other businesses, guest blogging, even strategic giving, where you give away your product or service to generate buzz and build a loyal following. Remember the story of John Moorfield, the architect who offered 5-cent advice to build his client base?
That's amazing. It just goes to show that thinking outside the box and offering real value can be incredibly effective, especially when you're just starting out. But launching a business isn't just about hustling, right? There's a whole art to creating a killer product launch that generates excitement and those all-important first sales.
Absolutely.
So how do you do that? Spill the secrets? What are some of his top tips for crafting a memorable product launch?
All right, we'll get to that right after the break. Stay tuned.
See you in a bit.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We're continuing our exploration of The $100 Startup by Chris Guillebeau, and in this part, we'll unpack some of his most tactical strategies for launching and growing a successful business.
Okay, let's get down to brass tacks. In part 1, we talked about finding that sweet spot between passion, skills, and market needs. Now, what are some actionable steps we can take to turn that idea into a reality?
One of the things that really resonated with me is Guillebeau's emphasis on finding your micro-niche.
Micro-niche.
It's about going beyond broad categories and really drilling down to a hyper-specific target audience.
But isn't that counterintuitive? Wouldn't focusing on a smaller niche limit your potential customer base?
It might seem that way at first, but here's the thing. When you try to be everything to everyone, you end up being nothing to no one.
Right.
By focusing on a micro-niche, you become the go-to expert for that specific group. You understand their needs, their pain points, and their aspirations better than anyone else.
So it's about standing out in a crowded marketplace by owning a specific space. Can you give us an example of what that might look like in practice?
Sure. Let's say you're a fitness coach. Instead of just saying, I help people get in shape, you might specialize in helping busy moms over 40 lose weight and regain their energy.
Okay.
That's your micro-niche.
I see. So it's about getting laser focused on a specific group with specific needs and tailoring your marketing message to resonate deeply with that audience.
Exactly. And Guibo gives some fantastic examples of people who have done this successfully. There's the guy who makes custom leather iPhone cases for left-handed people.
Wow.
There's the woman who teaches online cooking classes exclusively for people with dietary restrictions. These are businesses that wouldn't exist if they tried to appeal to everyone.
Those are such great examples. It really shows that you can build a successful business around something seemingly small if you know exactly who you're serving. But once you've identified your micro niche, how do you actually start attracting those customers?
That's where the concept of building a pre-sold audience comes in.
Okay.
It's about generating excitement and anticipation for your product or service before you even launch it.
Pre-sold audience. I love that term. So it's like creating a buzz, getting people talking, building momentum before the big launch day.
Precisely. Think of it like a movie studio releasing teasers and trailers to generate hype for a new film. By the time the movie premieres, people are already lining up at the box office.
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
Guillebeau suggests a variety of strategies to achieve this, including creating a waiting list, offering early bird discounts, sharing behind-the-scenes content, and even running contests or giveaways.
But building a pre-sold audience takes time and effort, right? Is it really worth the investment, especially when you're eager to get your product out into the world?
It absolutely is. Guillebeau argues that it's one of the most valuable investments you can make in your business because when you have a group of people who are already excited about what you offer, launching becomes so much easier. You've already got a built-in customer base who's eager to buy, which can significantly impact your initial sales and help you gain traction quickly.
It takes a lot of the pressure off the launch itself and allows you to hit the ground running. Now let's talk about the financial side of things. A lot of aspiring entrepreneurs get stuck on the idea that they need a lot of money to start a business. But Guillebeau challenges that notion with his philosophy of bootstrapping, right?
He does, and it's one of the most empowering aspects of the book. Bootstrapping is all about starting and growing your business with very limited resources.
Okay.
It's about being resourceful, scrappy, and finding creative ways to get things done without breaking the bank.
But isn't that easier said than done? Especially in today's world where it seems like everything costs money.
It can be challenging, but Guillebeau offers some incredibly practical tips. He talks about starting small, working from home, bartering services, and using free or low-cost online tools to your advantage. It's about challenging those assumptions that you need a fancy office or expensive software to get started.
It's about being a master of resourcefulness and finding creative solutions to overcome financial limitations. And one of the things I love about Guillebeau's approach is that he encourages entrepreneurs to get paid to learn.
Yes.
For example, if you're launching a web design business, you might offer to build websites for friends and family at a discounted rate in exchange for testimonials and experience.
That's a brilliant example.
Yeah.
You're not only building your portfolio and honing your skills, but you're also generating revenue and building relationships. It's a win-win situation.
Speaking of wins, Guillebeau also emphasizes the importance of building a minimum viable product, or MVP. Now, I know that sounds a bit technical,
Right.
but can you break it down for us?
Of course. An MVP is essentially the simplest version of your product or service that you can launch with.
Okay.
It's about getting something out there quickly, gathering feedback, and iterating based on what you learn.
So it's about not getting bogged down in perfectionism and just getting something out into the world.
Precisely. Because perfection is often the enemy of progress.
Right.
It's better to launch something that's 80% there and improve it over time than to wait forever for the perfect product that may never materialize. Think of it like a sculptor working with clay. They start with a basic shape and then gradually refine it until they achieve their vision.
That's a great analogy. It helps to visualize the concept.
Yeah.
But I can imagine it's tough for some entrepreneurs to put something out there that they don't consider perfect.
Yeah.
How do you overcome that fear of imperfection?
It's all about shifting your mindset. Remember, done is better than perfect.
Right.
It's about getting your product or service into the hands of real customers and learning from their feedback.
So it's about embracing the iterative process and being open to making changes along the way.
Exactly. And Guillebeau emphasizes the importance of being agile and adaptable. He uses the example of a software company that launched a new app with a ton of features, only to find that users were overwhelmed and confused.
Good.
They quickly pivoted, streamlined the app, and focused on the core features that users actually wanted. It was a valuable lesson in the power of listening to your market and being willing to adjust your course based on feedback.
It's about being flexible and responsive,
Yeah.
which I imagine is crucial in the ever-changing world of business.
It absolutely is. In fact, Gibo even encourages entrepreneurs to embrace failure as a learning opportunity.
I love that.
He says that every setback, every mistake, every so-called failure is simply data that can be used to improve your business.
That's a really empowering perspective. It takes the sting out of failure
Yeah.
and reframes it as a valuable part of the journey.
It does, and it reminds us that even the most successful entrepreneurs have faced their share of challenges and setbacks along the way. It's how you respond to those challenges that determines your ultimate success.
It's about having that resilience and growth mindset to keep going, even when things get tough.
Exactly. And Gibo offers some practical tips for developing that resilience,
EMK?
including surrounding yourself with supportive people, seeking out mentors and role models, and celebrating your wins, no matter how small.
Those are great reminders. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day grind and forget to acknowledge our progress and celebrate our achievements. Now let's talk about the inner game of entrepreneurship. Running a business can be a roller coaster of emotions. How does Gabo address the inevitable challenges of staying motivated and overcoming those inner voices of doubt?
He dedicates a whole chapter to overcoming the resistance, which is a brilliant way to describe it. By resistance, he's referring to all those inner voices of doubt, fear, and procrastination that can sabotage our efforts.
Oh, I know those voices all too well. They can be so loud and so persuasive.
They can. But Guilbeault offers some effective strategies for silencing those negative voices and staying focused on our goals.
Okay, give me the goods. How do we shut those pesky voices down?
He suggests identifying your specific fears and addressing them head on.
Okay.
Sometimes just acknowledging those fears and bringing them into the light of day can diminish their power.
So it's about facing our fears instead of letting them control us.
Exactly. He also recommends breaking down large tasks into smaller, more manageable steps. When we're overwhelmed by the enormity of a project, it's easy to get stuck in procrastination mode. But by breaking it down into bite-sized chunks, we can create a sense of momentum and progress.
It's about not getting overwhelmed by the big picture and just focusing on taking those small steps forward.
Exactly. He also stresses the importance of setting realistic deadlines and holding ourselves accountable.
It's about creating a structure and a system that supports our goals and keeps us moving forward.
Right. And don't underestimate the power of your environment. Surround yourself with supportive people who believe in your vision and who will encourage you along the way.
It's amazing how much our environment can influence our mindset and our actions. But even with a supportive network, there are times when we just feel stuck. What does Guilbeault have to say about overcoming those moments of inertia and getting ourselves back into action mode?
He encourages entrepreneurs to develop a bias towards action. It's about taking that first step, even if it's a small one, and building momentum from there.
Yeah.
Sometimes we wait for the perfect moment or the perfect conditions, but the truth is, there's no such thing as the perfect time to start. It's about choosing to act, even when we don't feel 100% ready.
So it's about not letting fear paralyze us and just getting started, even if we don't have all the answers or all the resources.
Exactly. Remember, we learn by doing. It's through taking action that we gain experience, build confidence, and figure out what works and what doesn't.
That's so true. It's about embracing the learning process and not being afraid to make mistakes along the way.
And speaking of mistakes, Guilbeault even encourages entrepreneurs to fail fast and fail forward. It's about viewing failure not as an endpoint, but as a stepping stone to success.
That's a great reframing. It's about learning from our mistakes and using them as fuel to keep moving forward.
He reminds us that even the most successful entrepreneurs have experienced their share of failures along the way. It's part of the journey. It's about having that resilience and growth mindset to keep going, even when things get tough.
Now, before we move on to the final part of our deep dive, I'd love to hear from you, our listeners. What's your biggest takeaway from what we've discussed so far?
Yeah.
What resonates with you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below.
We want to hear from you.
We'll be back in a moment to wrap things up with some final insights from the $100 Startup.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're in the final stretch of our exploration of the $100 Startup, and I'm excited to unpack some of Guilbeault's insights on building a business that not only thrives, but also aligns with your values and lifestyle goals.
Yes. We've talked about finding your niche, launching your product, and navigating the emotional ups and downs of entrepreneurship. Now, let's zoom out and focus on the long game.
Yeah.
Building a business that works for you, not the other way around.
I love that framing, a business that works for you. Guilbeault really emphasizes the importance of aligning your business with your personal definition of success. Is it financial freedom? Location independence? More time with family? Whatever it is, your business should be a vehicle to support that vision, not a burden that weighs you down.
It's about being intentional and designing a business that fits your life, rather than trying to squeeze your life into a pre-existing business mold.
He provides some inspiring examples of entrepreneurs who've done just that. There's a woman who runs a successful online store while traveling the world, and another who built a thriving coaching business that allows him to work just a few hours a week. These are businesses that have been intentionally crafted to support a specific lifestyle.
It's so refreshing to see that it's possible. It challenges that hustle 24/7 mentality that's so prevalent in the entrepreneurial world and reminds us that there are different paths to success.
And part of creating that ideal work-life balance is understanding your own energy and rhythms. Guilbeault talks about the importance of designing a work schedule that aligns with your natural productivity peaks and valleys. Are you a morning person or a night owl? Do you thrive on focused bursts of work, or do you prefer a more steady flow? Figure out what works best for you and structure your business accordingly.
It's about working smarter, not just harder, and being mindful of our own energy and limits.
He also talks about the importance of setting boundaries. It's so easy to get sucked into working all the time when you're passionate about your business, but to avoid burnout and maintain a healthy work-life balance, it's crucial to carve out time for rest, relaxation, and activities that replenish your energy.
Burnout can really sabotage your progress in the long run. It's like trying to run a marathon without ever stopping to refuel or rest.
Yeah,
You'll hit a wall eventually.
exactly. And as your business grows, it's essential to recognize that you can't do everything yourself. Guilbeault emphasizes the power of automation and delegation.
So it's about building a system that works for you, not against you.
Precisely. Identify tasks that can be automated or outsourced to free up your time and energy for the things you do best, those tasks that are in your zone of genius.
It's about leveraging technology and other resources to create a more efficient and sustainable business model. Now, let's talk about the financial side of things. I know a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with the numbers, but Guilbeault stresses the importance of having a clear understanding of your financials.
He does, and he makes it so approachable.
Yeah.
He provides simple templates and tools for tracking your income and expenses, knowing your profit margins, and having a solid financial plan in place. He also encourages entrepreneurs to seek out professional advice when needed, whether it's from an accountant, a financial advisor, or a mentor who's been there and done that.
It's about getting comfortable with the financial side of your business, even if it's not your favorite thing.
And once you have a handle on your finances, you can start thinking about long-term growth strategies. Guilbeault talks about the difference between lifestyle businesses and growth businesses.
Can you elaborate on that distinction? What are the key differences between those two models?
A lifestyle business, as we discussed earlier, is one that's designed to support a particular lifestyle. It might be a solopreneur operation or a small team, and the focus is on generating enough income to fund a desired way of life. It's not necessarily about world domination or becoming the next unicorn startup.
It's about creating a business that's sustainable and fulfilling for the owner, and that provides the freedom and flexibility to live life on your own terms. What about growth businesses? What are their primary characteristics?
Growth businesses, on the other hand, are focused on scaling rapidly and maximizing profits. They often involve raising capital, building large teams, and pursuing aggressive expansion strategies.
So it's a different mindset and a different set of goals.
Absolutely, and there's no right or wrong answer. Guilbeault encourages entrepreneurs to be honest with themselves about what type of business they want to build. It's about choosing the path that aligns with your values, your aspirations, and your definition of success.
I appreciate that nuanced approach. It's not about pushing one model over the other. It's about empowering entrepreneurs to make the best choice for themselves. But regardless of whether you're building a lifestyle business or a growth business, there are certain fundamental principles that apply to any successful venture.
You're absolutely right. Guilbeault highlights 3 core principles that are essential for any entrepreneur: delivering exceptional value to your customers, building strong relationships, and continuously learning and adapting.
Okay, break those down for me. What does each of those principles look like in action?
Delivering exceptional value means going above and beyond customer expectations. It's about providing a product or service that truly solves their problems, exceeds their expectations, and makes their lives better in a meaningful way.
It's about creating a wow experience that makes customers want to come back for more and tell their friends about you.
Exactly. Building strong relationships is about connecting with your customers on a human level, fostering a sense of community around your brand, and building genuine loyalty that goes beyond just transactions. It's about making people feel seen, heard, and valued.
It's about creating a brand that people love to support, not just because of what you sell, but because of who you are and what you stand for.
And finally, continuously learning and adapting means staying ahead of the curve, being open to new ideas, experimenting with different approaches, and always seeking ways to improve your business. It's about embracing a growth mindset and recognizing that there's always more to learn, more to explore, and more to achieve.
Those are such powerful principles, and they apply whether you're a solopreneur running a side hustle or the CEO of a Fortune 500 company.
They really do. And Guilbeault reminds us that building a successful business is a journey, not a destination. It's about constantly learning, growing, evolving, and embracing the inevitable ups and downs that come with the entrepreneurial ride.
And it's about having the courage to pursue your dreams, even if they seem impossible at first.
Because, as Guilbeault so eloquently puts it, the world is changing faster than ever before, and the opportunities for entrepreneurs are greater than they've ever been. It's an exciting time to be an entrepreneur, and there's never been a better time to turn your passion into a thriving business.
That's such an inspiring message. It's a reminder that we all have the power to create something meaningful and make a difference in the world.
And on that note, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the $100 startup. I hope you found it as insightful and empowering as I have.
This has been such a rich and valuable conversation, and I'm so grateful for your insights.
It's been a pleasure. And for all of you listening, don't forget to check out the episode description for links to the study notes and the audiobook.
And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with anyone who needs a little entrepreneurial inspiration. Until next time, keep dreaming big and taking action.
And remember, the world needs your unique talents and ideas.